You know, I still haven't run out of room on this thing, and the battery's still going. It's gone for like over an hour now. It's amazing. I never knew that the battery would be so good. I guess I never charged it enough until now. All right, I'll continue here. You say, how... Is this recording? I guess it is. How can you believe it will come forward with sex when the lie is so blatant? How? Again, you are making it so long. What does that mean? Can you keep in one topic till you finish it, then jump to another one? Again, how can you believe it, Allah, will come forward with sex when the lie about embryos and the Quran confirming the Bible is so blatant? How? And what is so hard about answering that? As I said, you may be busy, guy, and I don't have all day too. So one by one, bro. Well, again, how can you believe it will come forward with the sex when the lie is so blatant? How? You say, isn't that better than saying the earth is spread out like a carpet? We can talk about that after you finish this one. I'll leave that up to our readers to decide if that's true, and our viewers. You say, oh, what are those signs? Are you saying that someday people will be created out of blood clots? I'm saying people will get to know things that we didn't know, that the Quran talks of. If so, what is the Quran saying that we still don't know today? Just like people didn't know word is expanding. Oh, he means world is expanding. I got you. Word is expanding? What? Or ants are talking. The fact that no one had a problem with the Quran talking of talking ants until now is proof that people had no problem with it. The thing is, though, the Quran goes beyond ants talking to ants, from talking ants to knowing who Solomon was and the existential threat the feet of him and his soldiers posed to them, which turns a simple ant into that of a little human with antennas who keeps up on current human events, which, face it, makes the Quran laughable. Maybe historical, or who knows, when they discover it's for them, not for us. Well, it's certainly not for our times, for we know embryos are never blood clots, and we know that the Quran can't confirm any book before it, if the Quran is the only book that is supposed to be not corrupted. Not everything is for you, especially a book that says embryos go through a blood clot stage and says the earth is spread out like a carpet, which according to Muhammad in the Hadith is on the back of a giant fish called Nun. Or it's also called Behemoth and all that stuff. You think the earth and 7 other earths are spread out on the back of a giant fish? You think a solar eclipse occurs the way Muhammad believed by falling out of its chariot? See Al-Tabari Hadith for that one. You think the sun and moon travel in boats similar to their offspring Noah? See Quran 36:40-43 on that one. I kid you not. The Quran has the sun and moon traveling in boats similar to Noah's Ark. And they give some Arabic word here and says, means paradise or heaven. So the Hadith is about heaven, not earth. In reference to what? What does that have to do with anything? You say, but if you count all the 40s mentioned, it comes out to 120 days. Man, all these are referring to 140. Really? Well, how do you get that with the constituents of one of you are collected for 40 days in his mother's womb in the form of blood, after which it becomes a clot of blood in another period of 40 days. That makes 80 days. Then it becomes a lump of flesh, and 40 days, that's 120 days later, Allah sends his angel with its instructions concerning 4 things. And that is not just Muslim, it says that, but also Bukhari. Don't tell me. The evil Jews came in and paid those Muslim scholars to translate into English this way, just to make it sound like Mo was a stupid caveman, right? How many times I should explain it? Have you ever explained it? I gave you the hadith in Arabic, and I did ask you to translate it word by word, and I put it through Google last night, and it didn't translate. But when a clot, but when clot can now say leech or chew, showing Muslim tampering in Google, well, how can I believe what it would say if it was actually translated into English? And you want to find more than 140. Did you know that if you put the Arabic of Sunan Abu Dawud 22050 that allows Muslims to rape women in front of their non-Muslim husbands, the Arabic that is controversial will not translate into English that is pronounceable or meaningful? And when I take the same Arabic words to Muslims who know Arabic, you know what they say? They say, a bad guy wrote that. I don't tell them that it came from Sunnat Abu Dawud 22050. So the Arabic is translatable, but not in Google Translate. That tells me that Muslims have done something with Google Translate. That tells me that Google Translate can't be trusted. Let's see, how much time do I have left here? I got some, yeah. So it doesn't say 40 and 40 and 40, but people translate the well, I don't care. For I've seen Google Translate screwing up the controversial parts of Sunan Abu Dawud 22050. I even made a video of it. If you don't believe me, I can show it to you. You are being illogical now. Really? Well, turn this into videos, which I'm doing now, and see if people who aren't Muslim agree with you about that. Or maybe you think I'm lying and you don't want to check even. No, I believe you. But it means nothing to me due to the fact that I've experienced with Sunan Abu Dawud 22050. Muslims who know Arabic and how Google Translate treats those controversial Arabic words. You say, not even for a second is an embryo a leech or a clot. Right. It's not a leech, but it looks like a leech. How come all Qurans have it as, who created mankind from a clot of blood, or a blood clot, instead of, who created mankind from a leech-like substance? How come all Qurans pretty much have it as, then it becomes a clot of congealed blood? And of course, how come all hadiths have it as blood clot? By the way, is there any place in the Quran where alaq means leech and not blood clot when it's talking about real leeches? Where in the Quran or hadith is it really meaning leech? I think I'll put leech into the browser of Sunnah.com and see if people even know, if people even knew what leech was in the time of Muhammad, okay? I'll do that now. When you say to a person, you light of my, you are the light of my life, doesn't mean he is light, but he is like a light in your life. So you're saying that when it says blood clot, it's metaphoric? How is it metaphoric? Why would old Owl want to make an embryo a blood clot in a metaphoric way? Just to make it sound like Mo was a caveman? By the way, how is it metaphoric when it says, then it becomes a blood clot? You say, the other is the sun running to a resting place. The set in my spring. Don't worry, I can answer that after this. Okay, I'm waiting for that one. You say also it means leech and chew. Right. Was it before or after? You said, was it before or after we discovered that embryos are never blood clots? Right, I asked that. Surely before these Arabic dictionary are way old. Before we discovered it. Guess what I did? I'll save the rest of the receivers. Guess what I just did? I put the word camel into the web browser of Sunnah.com, and I got a lot of references for camel. Proof that Muslims of Muhammad's time really knew what a camel was. Then guess what I did? I put leech through the same web browser of Sunnah.com. Do you think the word leech in English ever showed up just once? It's proof that Mo and Arabs didn't even know what a leech, pretty much didn't know what a leech was back then. But how could they when there's so many marshes and there aren't that many marshes and deserts? This is proof to me that alaq didn't become leech as well as blood clot until Muslims got desperate to try to cover for such idiocy of embryos being blood clots. By the way, go to Sunnah.com and put leech into its web browser. First, put camel. to see how many times camel appears. Then put leech. A lot for camel, 0 for leech. Proof that Moan Arabs had no word for leech until now. Now alak also means leech as well as blood clot. And I'm betting that alak didn't mean leech until we learned that an embryo never goes through a blood clot stage. It's like spread out flat like a carpet. Now means ostrich egg. The earth is round like an ostrich egg. When we found out that the earth is not flat nor spread out like a carpet. If not, then find an old Quran that has it like leech and ostrich egg before science showed that embryos are not blood clots and the earth is not on the back of a giant fish called Nun. Find that Quran, O slave of the best receivers. Find that Quran. You say, why all hadiths translated by right? Why all hadiths have it translated, say, clot of blood for 40 days in English? I'm sorry, these are translator opinion. Allah couldn't say B and have it agreeing with science? How come old Allah wasn't able to say B and keep it from creating such a major screw up and thus creating doubt and thus going to hell for doubting Allah? They think it's the right word to use and they chose, and we think such a major screw up only happens there. How about when it says a Jew is hiding behind a rock before the rock blows his cover? Did he screw up there also? Is that a screw up? But the Arabic word can mean any of these. Now it can. Now it can. Trouble is, put leech into your web browser for Suna.com, please. I better stop it here. Yeah. Bye. Oh, memory card fool. Okay, I guess I gotta stop it. Bye. Yeah, memory card full. Okay. I can go to bed now. Yeah.